Hello, grade 11 students. In this session, we're going to talk about the reproductive systems. We're going to talk about the male and the female reproductive system. So, during the last few years of the BC era, what happens? So, males and females, they are needed. So, here we are talking about sexual reproduction. Let's start first, talk about male and female reproductive system. Let's talk about the primary sexual organs and the secondary sexual organs. So primary sexual organs, they are the organs responsible for the production of gametes and the primary sexual hormones. So the primary sexual organs, they are the organs responsible for the production of gametes and the primary sexual hormones. They are also known as gonads. Whereas the secondary sexual organs, they are the organs that support the functioning of the gonads. They support the functioning of the primary sexual organs during their formation of gametes, their maturation, and delivery. They are also known as accessory organs. So first, we have primary sexual organs. They are the organs responsible for the production of gametes and the primary sexual hormones. They are also known as the gonads, whereas secondary sexual organs, they are the organs that support the functioning of the gonads during their formation of gametes, their delivery and maturation. They are also known as accessory organs. So let's move now to the gametes. The male gametes, all of you know that the male gamete is called the sperm cell or the sperm. Female gamete, egg cell, and we're going to talk about this to be discussed later. Hormones. The male primary sexual hormone is called testosterone. So the male primary sexual hormone is called testosterone, while the female primary sexual hormones, they are estrogen and progesterone. So as I said, the male gamete is the sperm cell, and the male primary sexual hormone is called testosterone. Here we're going to talk about male. So this is for male. Female gamete is called the egg cell. Till now, this will be discussed later. Female primary sexual hormones, they are estrogen and progesterone. Let's move to the male reproductive system. So the male reproductive system, we have the testes. What are the testes? Testes, they are the site of the sperm production. They are the site where the male gamete is going to be produced. So they are the site of production of the male sexual hormone, the primary male sexual hormone, which is testosterone. That's why we call it the testes, the male gonad. So testes, they are the site of production of sperm cells, the male gametes. They are the site of production of the testosterone, the primary sexual hormones for males. So as such, testes, they are referred to as the male gonads. So as I said, testes, they are the site of production of sperm cells. They are the site where the sperm cells are produced. These sperm cells, they are the male gametes. They are the site of production of testosterone, the primary male sexual hormones. So as such, testes, they are referred to as the male gonads. Testes is composed of each testicle is composed of numerous seminiferous tubules in which the sperms will develop. We have leading cells. We're going to know about their function, about Sertoli cells. So each testicle is composed of numerous seminiferous tubules, as shown here, seminiferous tubules, and in which the sperms will develop. This is the figure showing the leading cells, Sertoli cells, and seminiferous tubules, and we're going to talk about this in detail. Testes. These tubules, which are tubules? The seminiferous tubules, they are surrounded with Sertoli cells. So these are surrounded by Sertoli cells. What is the role of the Sertoli cell? Sertoli cells, they provide the nourishment to the developing sperm, meaning that they nourish the developing sperms. So these tubules, they are surrounded by Sertoli cells. These Sertoli cells provide the nourishment to the developing sperms. So they provide the nourishment to the developing sperms. So this is the role of Sertoli cells. Let's now move to the role of the leading cell. Between the seminiferous tubules, there are interstitial cells, also known as leading cells. Leading cells, they are responsible for production of testosterone. These are very important notes. So, Sertoli cells, they are responsible for the nourishment of the developing sperms. Leading cells, they are responsible for the production of the primary male sexual hormone, testosterone. So, tracing the pathway of the sperm cells inside the MRS. What is MRS? Male reproductive system. So first stage or first step, first checkpoint is the testes. Number one is the testes. Moving now to the scrotum. What is the scrotum? The scrotum is like a sac-like structure. It's found here. It's a sac-like structure. It's found outside the abdominal cavity. So it's only in males for sure. Has a role in the protection of the testes, and it maintains or it keeps the optimum temperature for the production of the sperms and also their development. So the scrotum is very important. The scrotum is a sac-like structure, as I said, is suspended outside the abdominal cavity in males only. This scrotum has to protect the testes, and it maintains an optimum temperature for the production of the sperms and also for their development. So as I said, scrotum, the testes, they are suspended. They are suspended in a sac-like structure outside the abdominal cavity of males. The scrotum has an important role. It's to protect the testes, has a role in protection and to maintain the optimum temperature for the production and the development of the sperms. Let's now move to another part. So first we talk about testes. Second, we talk about the leading cells, Sertoli cell. Let's move to the scrotum. We talk about scrotum. Now let's move to the epididymis. Epididymis is found in this region. So what is the epididymis? Epididymis, they are irregular networks of ducts. They move into epididymis. Epididymis is classified as the site of temporal storage and final maturation of sperm. So the final step where the sperms are going to be maturated, they are going to be the sperm. They become motile in this, and they become viable at temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. So epididymis, after their production in the seminiferous tubes of the testes, the sperms, they move into an irregular network of ducts, and they pour into the coiled epididymis. Epididymis is the site, here the function of, is the site of temporal storage and final maturation of sperms, where they acquire motility and they are become viable at temperature 37 degrees Celsius. So if I'm going to ask you about the epididymis, you have to show that epididymis is the site of temporal storage and final maturation of the sperm. So the site of temporal storage and the final maturation step of the sperms, these sperms will acquire motility and they become viable at temperature 37 degrees Celsius. So move now. This is the epididymis. This is a high power view of epididymis tubule lined with a pseudo-stratified columnar with serous actually microvilli. This is smooth muscle, provide peristalsis for the sperm movement toward the ducts deferens or vas differentia. We're going to talk about this. So, tracing the pathway, we'll finish first with the testes. Second step, it was the epididymis. Now, let's go to the vas deferens, or sometimes it's said as vas differentia. So, vas deferens. Whenever they move the testes from the sperm cells, from the epididymis, the sperm cells, they are collected at the vas deferens. Vas deferens is called as spermiduct. Spermiduct, duct for the sperm, from its name, sperm duct, or vasa differentia, or vas deferens. All of them, they have the same meaning. So the sperms, they are collected at the vas deferens. So till now we have 3 checkpoints. The first checkpoint is about the testes. The second checkpoint in the pathway of the sperm cells along the male reproductive system is the epididymis, and the third one is vas deferens. Okay, moving now to the seminal vesicle. What is the seminal vesicle? It's a glandular dilation at the distal end of the vas deferens. So, seminal vesicle serves as a reservoir where the sperm cells are stored, pending or waiting their ejaculation during a sexual intercourse. So seminal vesicles, they are a reservoir. So this is an important role. What is the role of the seminal vesicle? So seminal vesicle, they serve at the reservoir where the sperm cells are stored, waiting for their ejaculation. Okay? So let's move now to the prostate. So as I said, this is the seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle, this is a reservoir where the sperm cells are stored and they are pending their ejaculation. Let's now move to the prostate gland. Okay, and we're going to talk also about the Cooper's gland. Along with the prostate gland and the Cooper's glands, it produces the seminal fluid. Talk about the seminal vesicle. With the prostate gland and the Cooper's gland, they produce the seminal fluid, which contain the sperm cell. The seminal fluid contains fructose, minerals, fatty acids, vitamins, especially vitamins E and A. These nutrients are needed to lubricate and adjust the acidity of the female reproductive system. So the seminal fluid contains fructose, minerals, fatty acids, and vitamins, especially vitamins E and A. These are needed to lubricate, to pave the way for the sperm and to adjust the acidity of the female reproductive tract for sperm entry, as well as for the nourishment, survival, and the motility of the sperms. Talk about especially fructose. So they are needed for the lubrication and adjusting the acidity of the female reproductive tract to sperm to enter inside the female reproductive system, as well as for the nourishment, also for the survival and the motility of the sperms. Especially fructose is needed for these nourishment and survival and the motility. The seminal fluid and the sperm cells, along with many other nutrients, they form what's known by the semen. Okay? So this is the seminal vesicles. This is under the microscope. The seminal vesicles shown. So here, the pathway along the male reproductive system, we have the testes, epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, and now we're going to talk about urethra. What is the urethra? Urethra is defined as the urogenital tube. So it's the urogenital tube. It's connected to the excretory system. So urogenital. So first, it carries the urine from the urinary bladder and is connected to the reproductive system. It carries the seminal fluid and the sperms. When ejaculation is due, the sperm cells or the sperms, they pour into the urethra. So here we have pathway completed. Number 5, number 1, we have the testes. Number 2, epididymis. Number 3, vas deferens. Number 4, seminal vesicle. And number 5, urethra. We said that the epididymis, as I said, the scrotum first. Let's make a complete revision. Scrotum, let's talk about the scrotum. Its role is to protect the testes and maintain optimum temperature for the production and development of sperm. Epididymis is the temporal site for the storage and final maturation of sperms, where they acquire motility and they become viable at temperature 37. We talk about the vas deferens. We said that sperm cells are collected by the vas deferens, and the seminal vesicles, it's the reservoir where the sperm cells are stored pending their ejaculation. We talk about the seminal fluid. It contains fructose, it contains fatty acids, vitamins E and A especially. They contain minerals, and these are needed to pave the way, to lubricate and adjust the acidity of the female reproductive tract for the sperm entry, as well as for the nourishment. The seminal fluid and the sperm cells, along with many other nutrients, let's say fructose, they form the semen. We talk about the pathway. We talk about the urethra. We said that the urethra is a urogenital tube. It's connected to the excretory system, where it carries urine, and it's connected to the reproductive system. It carries the seminal fluid and the sperms. When ejaculation happens, the sperms pour into the urethra. Now let's talk about female or the male reproductive system, the penis, and the urogenital opening. So, urogenital opening in penis. Penis is the male reproductive system. It's the male copulatory organ through which the semen is ejected out of the urogenital opening. So, this is number 6. So, the pathway, testis, then it moves to the epididymis. Number 3, to the vas deferens. Number 4, to the seminal vesicle. Number 5, to the urethra. And number 6, to the urogenital opening. So this is the figure showing the male reproductive system. Now let's move to the female reproductive system, and let's talk about the female reproductive system. To start with, we have to start with something special, which is the ovary. So the ovary, it's going to be our site. So the site of production of the egg cells, the female gametes, it's called the ovaries. They are also the site of the production of the primary female sexual hormones, estrogen and progesterone. So ovaries, they are the site of production of egg cells, female gametes. Also, they are the site of production of estrogen and progesterone, the primary female sexual hormones. As such, ovaries, they are referred to as the female gonads. Also, as he did in the male reproductive system, we are going to do in the female reproductive system, we are going to trace the pathway. So pathway of the egg cells in the female reproductive system is stored at the level of the ovaries. Let's move now to the second step. We're going to talk about the oviduct. What is the oviduct? Also, they have another name. It's called fallopian tubes or the uterine tubes. On due time, the egg cells will be released into the fallopian tube or the oviduct. The egg cell will wait in the upper third part of the fallopian tube for about 24 to 48 hours, waiting to be fertilized by the sperm. So the egg cell will wait in the upper third part of the fallopian tube for about 1 day to 2 days, 24 to 48 hours, waiting to be fertilized by a sperm, and then will descend toward the uterus whether or not fertilization took place. If we don't have fertilization, or we have, it will descend toward the uterus. So tracing the pathway, first we have the ovaries, second we have the oviduct. Let's now move to the uterus. Uterus, or has another name, it's called the womb. Uterus, fertilization occurs. The uterus is going to be the site of implantation and development of the embryo till the end of the gestation period. So fertilization occurs, so the uterus is going to be the site of implantation and development of the embryo, if it happens. First three checkpoints. We have the ovaries, second, oviduct or the fallopian tubes or uterine tubes, and third, we have the uterus. So you think we are easy, huh? It's not easy. Process is not easy. So let's see what happened next. Tracing the pathway of sperm cells in their reproductive system. Here is the genital opening. The opening of the genital opening starts with the pathway of the sperm cells in the female reproductive system through the genital opening. The genital opening is found in the vagina of female reproductive system. So genital opening, it enters the sperm in the genital opening, then it moves toward the vagina, then it moves toward the cervix, number 4 toward the uterus, and to move to the oviduct in order to have the fertilization. So you have to keep in mind, in the male reproductive system, the gonad or the testis is present outside it's found outside the abdominal cavity, while the female is present inside. This is a difference between them. Also, in the male reproductive system, the opening to the outside is the urogenital opening, common to both systems. While in the female, there are two distinct separate openings. We have urethral opening and we have genital opening. So you have to be careful for this. The male reproductive system starts from puberty and continues till death. So the male reproductive activity, it starts from puberty and continues till death. It's a continuous process. It's the process that continues till death. It's a continuous process that may decrease with age, whereas the female reproductive activity, it starts at puberty and stops at the menopause. It's cyclic and may be interrupted by gestation, whenever we have a pregnancy. So female reproductive activity starts at puberty and stops at menopause, ages 50, 55, and so on. So it's cyclic, may be interrupted by gestation, which is called pregnancy period. So let's move the comparative table of male and female reproductive systems. So a comparison between female and male reproductive system, we have to say that the gonads in the male, they are the testes, where in the female they are the ovaries. Genital tract, we have the vas deferens epididymis, while here in the female we have the uterus and the oviduct. Copulatory organ is the penis, while in the female reproductive system it's the vagina. So male reproductive system, it's the testes, the gonads, they are the testes, and the testes, they are the outside the abdominal cavity. They are found outside the abdominal cavity, and the gonads in the female reproductive system, it's the ovaries, it's found inside the abdominal cavity. The genital duct in the male reproductive system, it's the vas deferens and the epididymis, while in the female reproductive system, it's the oviduct and the uterus. Copulatory organ is the penis in male, while it's the vagina in the female. So let's make now a summary for all the female reproductive system. We started with the ovaries. We said that they are the site of the egg production, egg cells production, female gametes. Also, they are the site of production of female primary sexual hormones, estrogen and progesterone. So ovaries, they are referred to the female gonads. We talk about the oviduct. Oviduct, they are called the fallopian tubes. The egg cell will be released into the fallopian tubes or into the oviducts or into the uterine tubes. So the egg will wait in the third upper part for about 24 to 48 hours, waiting to be fertilized, and then descends toward the uterus if not fertilization took place. And we talk about the uterus. We said that the uterus is the site of implantation of the embryo till the end of the gestation period. We talk about the pathway of the sperm cells along the reproductive system of female. We said it starts with the genital opening and the vagina, then move to the cervix, to the uterus, and to the oviduct. We said the differences between the male and female reproductive system is the male reproductive system, testes, in the male reproductive system, the gonads, like the testes, they are found outside the abdominal cavity, the scrotum, while in the female reproductive system, they are found inside. So in the male reproductive system, the opening to the outside is called genital opening, coming for both system, and in females there are two distinct separate openings. We have the genital opening and the urethral opening. So you have to know that the male reproductive activity, it starts at puberty and continues till death. It may or may not decrease with age, while the female reproductive activity starts at puberty and stops at menopause, cyclic, and may be interrupted by the pregnancy period. And in this table, we have the comparative table of male and female reproductive system. We said that the male gonad, it's the testis, it's found outside the abdominal cavity, while the female reproductive system, the gonads are the ovaries inside the abdominal cavity. Genital duct, vas deferens, epididymis, while the female reproductive system, oviduct and the uterus. Copulatory organ is the penis in the male reproductive system, while it's the vagina in the female reproductive system. Hope this video will help you to understand very well all the notes related to the female and male reproductive system. Also, you can go to the discover the worksheet regarding this male and female reproductive system, and you have to study these notes very well. Okay, guys, thank you. Bye bye.